Together with my guests, I want to discuss how the current geopolitical situation shapes their business operations and how they have addressed the challenges that gives it to them. And with concrete examples, we're also going to talk about IoT integration, warehouse connectivity, LSP integration, and much more. Therefore, I'm very happy to introduce our two guests today. Maximilian Birle, Head of Telematics and Digital Services at Krone Group, and Emil Helke, Team Lead Integrations at Damstahl. Let's welcome them to the stage. Wonderful. Great to have you both here on stage.
Happy to be here.
Okay, wonderful. Now, I would like to start off with the big picture, because today in the first keynote by Anu Bradford, we talked about the current geopolitical situation. And sometimes I get the feeling, we talk about geopolitics, the entire topic seems so big, and I sometimes wonder, but what are the concrete consequences for the companies and their supply chains? So my question to you would be, how have these developments in the past months and years shaped your business operations, and how have they affected your supply strategies? Would you like to start?
Maybe I'm starting. So the major point for us was, all the trade barriers to Russia, where the complete life cycle of our trailers were completely disrupted. So we had a complete market was going down or was not available anymore for used equipment, meaning at that moment our Central European customers were using their equipment way longer or not phasing them out, and all the used equipment was not demanded from Russia. So we had definitely a price topic, plus in addition then definitely looking at the economic situation. Yeah, we are in Kurzarbeit. We are challenged with the market of logistics, which is right now not really booming. And the first ones who recognize this is the trailer rental guys. And after that, it's immediately the trailer manufacturing guys.
Okay. And so how did you look at the development of the geopolitical situation? Like you read about it in the news, and how did you react as management at Krone? Like you looked at it and you were like, okay, what do we do now?
Okay, there are things you cannot change, and then you need to be very clear. We are a family-based company with a few billions in revenue, and there are clear values, and definitely our competitors were still finding ways how to import into Russia. We did not do this. We had massive discussions with local sales teams which are on the border to Russia to stop them, because barriers are barriers, definitely, and we need to comply with the rules. And this was definitely a lot of people discussion, more than, okay, there are new rules, we need to comply with those.
Okay, so it's like there are new rules to be applied, and you actually need to push them through to the shop floor, so to say.
That's the point.
That is a big challenge. Yeah. How did Darmstadt cope with those developments?
So we have never really done a lot of business in Russia, that really didn't affect us.
Okay.
What really affects us is the new tariffs towards the United States, because a lot of our customers, they manufacture processing equipment to the American market, so it's pharmaceutics, food production, dairy, all this stuff. So that's really what is affecting us. And in the stainless steel industry, it has always been very affected by tariffs, and it's always been used as a weapon in the tariff conflict. So we are very adaptable when it comes to stuff like that. We have experienced tons of these scenarios before.
Okay.
That's how we.
Okay. Obviously, steel is a vital resource, so to say, on the global market. So how did that work out? I would say in the past couple of weeks when tariffs went up and down, and you watched it from the sidelines, so to say. How did you react from the management side?
So the first reaction was, okay, let's hold the horses here. Let's see what really comes of this, because now they're drawing back some of the tariffs, and there's a bit of drawback now, right? So we always keep our cool, and then we react later on. But of course, we need to do the baby steps on what we need to do at the next point. But yeah, it's so difficult to kind of react on everything that's happening across the pond, right?
Of course.
You
Of
need
course,
to,
because
you
it
need to
happens
do it
so
daily,
fast.
right? So
Yeah.
it happens so fast that you can't really. You just need to hold the horses and then sit down and really analyze what's the next steps.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
But I suppose there are teams on it who are actively watching what's happening out there.
Of course, our management is watching, and
Mhm.
and our procurement division and sales. Everybody's watching it from the business point, right?
Okay.
From my point, it's kind of business as usual. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, that's one good thing, right? Business as usual, so to say. Okay, wonderful. So let's dive into the Krone use case. Right now, Krone is Europe's largest trailer manufacturer, and it's known for its seamless trailer integration. And Max, when I prepared the first thing that I asked myself, and I think it's a simple question, but it's also a hard question. What is trailer integration? What does that really mean?
So, okay, we are producing trailers, and trailers in nowadays have a very valuable position within the supply chain. People are not realizing this right away when we are talking about digital, because mostly trucks are digital, trailers are just something behind it. But at the end of the day, the goods are still on the trailer and not in the trucks. And with changing supply chains, which are more going into intermodal solutions, which are going more into disconnected situation, a connected trailer is one thing, so having a telematic and IoT device on it, but this is still not making the full benefit. The full benefit is at the end of the day when we are seamless integrated into the transport management systems, into the ERPs, into all the solutions our customers are right now using, and this industry is not standardized. So coming back to your question, seamless integrated is what we are putting as our mission and our daily operations, getting the data really to the point where it's needed.
I think you also brought a slide. Maybe you
I
would like
brought
to
a
shed
slide.
some light on that. Maybe if you'd like to go over here.
Yeah, I can navigate a little bit through this. This is our seamless integrated trailer, and we are very clear that, okay, whatever we are doing, at the end of the day, there is goods on the trailer. That's the baseline, and as long as we agree on that, we are already one step ahead. And then what you see within this picture is everything is connected. A major point, a major milestone for us is not every data needs to be at every single point. We need to be very clear that we have the different stakeholders, transport management, fleet management, drivers, and workshops. And this is what our picture looks like. Definitely, we are not going into transport management solutions like we have seen in the keynote of Lobster, but what we are really eager on is fleet management, workshops, getting the uptime of our trailers right. And within our big picture, and with a very clear message where we are positioning our trailer, at the end of the day, it's like online banking. Trailer data needs to be like online banking. You need to be able to transfer data of your trailers into all the different accounts you have out there with a slide of a finger, I would say. And this is where we are going to.
Okay, thank you very much. That definitely helped me to understand better what trailer integration means. Okay, wonderful. So you were talking about exchanging data across all different systems, across different players, and I can actually hand that over to Emil right here, because Darmstahl introduced Lobster to modernize its EDI setup, you know. And what would you say before you introduced Lobster? What were the key friction points? What were people frustrated about?
So we were using a third-party product, and every time we would have to make an integration, we would have to contact them. They would have to establish the mapping, endless testing. The costs were just immense, and and sometimes you would get a new consultant who needed to learn the business, because there's a lot of custom or industry-specific stuff that's only for the stainless steel industry when it comes to traceability, and there's a lot of stuff around that. So I came aboard 2 years ago, and then I said, okay, we need to make things easy and accessible, and we can react to issues and easy mappings, and just make the whole flow easier, and we can onboard customers in in a way higher pace than we were before. So we had huge issues, and also just getting the whole transparency of what's going on here, because everything was being handed to this third party. They were doing the XSLT transformation, and we had no idea what was going on in the engine, right? And now we're in total control of everything that's going in and out, and can make adjustments quickly to business needs. Yeah.
Okay, I really feel what you're saying, because before I joined Lobster, I was very much on that other side of that third-party consultancy, and even back then as a project leader, I always saw, okay, well, our customer wants to have this or that fixed as soon as possible, because this is the need nowadays. We've heard it in the keynotes. Things are changing so quickly. You don't want to hear, okay, well, we can do it in 6 weeks, we can do it in 8 weeks. Oh, well, let us just look at that first, and then you'll get a cost estimation, and we'll talk about it again. So the way I understand it, the Lobster products gave you, so to say, it put the tools into your hands. So
yeah, it gave us all the power, and that's what I'm all about when it comes to stuff like this. I want to have all the power when it comes to integrations out towards our customers, because our building bonds with our customers is what drives our business. Because we're a wholesaler, it's a pricing issue, right? But with Damstahl, you get seamless integrations, which will in the end save man hours, right?
Yeah. And maybe let's touch upon what you said about customer experience, because I always feel like when you talk about data integration and automation of processes and all of that kind of sounds high level. What do your customers say? How do they experience that change of power that you mentioned?
So how our customers are reacting to us?
How are they affected by now your new power that you can do integrations yourself?
It has actually resulted in us being like a pilot project for a lot of our customers who are looking into DDI. They look at us and they say, okay, Damstahl has some really fast capabilities. We can go to market quickly. We can do a lot of the setups in weeks, where before it would take like half a year sometimes to do EDI projects, right? We can do them on the fly. So just the whole adaptability is what our customers see in us, and that builds like long-term bonds. And then the price is maybe not the most crucial selling point. It's more like, okay, with Damstahl we can really optimize our business and save man hours, which in the end will reduce costs and so forth. So that's
okay. So I guess you could say it gave you a competitive advantage, right?
Yeah.
Because now you can actually advertise that speed and be a champion out there in the industry.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm very happy for that. Now, we're talking about EDI right now, so information flows, and information flows are what keep supply chains alive. We're talking about the movement of goods. We're talking about real-time visibility, which is brought forward through information. But now I'm wondering, what happens when a supply chain with you guys is disrupted, say by natural hazards or by war or by, well, erratic politics, so to say? Max, how are you thinking about risk management and emergency planning in your supply chain? Do you have a toolkit that you have at the ready?
I think the first one is the visibility of all assets. I would say this is so the baseline. If we are not anywhere capable of knowing where are the assets and what's the state of the assets, so state of the assets is a very good one, because are they ready to be in transport or not? So if we are in whatever situation and we are missing 100 trailers, or we are missing a certain amount of transport equipment, and we have no clue where they are, this is the first level, let's say. And then about tools, we are not having a setup ready, which we are pulling the trigger, and then they are in our emergency room, 20 screens are going up, and then we are running this. This is not how we do this. Definitely, if we are talking about supplier backups and so on, it's a challenge already today. And if we are going into disruptions, yes, there are, and this is what we learned over the last, let's say, 10 years. We have very clear internal setups of groups of people which can then make decisions pretty quick. So we don't need the management at that moment. So this is then the expert levels which are meeting then on a 2-hourly basis, and then we are adapting. So like we had during Corona or during the situation, there were no brakes available, there were no air suspensions available. So the guys had to get to keep the manufacturing alive. But then definitely there was some impact, even the impact that we had to call the customer saying, we would like to produce your trailer, but we are not getting any axle from the producer ABC. We would be able to produce your trailer with the axle of the manufacturer XYZ.
Okay.
We even had to do that in order to keep our production alive.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I can very much imagine that organizations today, in order to become resilient, you need to have those playbooks available right now. And the last couple of years have taught us that things can happen very quickly, and then you need to be. Maybe you don't have to. You don't need to have the solution ready, but you need to have a methodology on how to react to it, right?
I think that's the most important. So it's not about tools at that moment. At that moment, it's really about what are the processes and what are the people you need to be still able to make decisions fast. If we always need to go management, top management, and then back, we are not fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
And also then, is management really, or is the leadership team already still in management in daily operations? If not, then get the right people in the room. So, and this is how we navigated through the last two major disruptions.
Mm-hmm.
We are pretty okay on that one.
Okay, Emil, maybe you can share some light on how Damstahl is managing to navigate through those, sudden supply chain disruptions.
So we have a very, very broad array of suppliers. So we can pull on Indian or Chinese or Taiwanese, and so when a disruption comes, we need to buy or produce somewhere else. For example, we had one of our big customers or one of our big suppliers in France. They had an accident at one of their steelworks, so we had to kind of scramble and find new suppliers or buy extra stuff from suppliers in Finland and Sweden and so forth. So we're always looking for new suppliers which can mitigate gaps if there's any disruption in the production lines.
So you have a buffer of suppliers, so to say, that you can easily switch to?
Yeah. But we need to, right? If there's,
of course.
But this plant was closed down for half a year, so we were really, and also our main supplier on a lot of stuff. So we really had to transition into other suppliers. Yeah.
And that also carries an EDI integration challenge with it, right? To have all these suppliers ready and be able to so to say, to turn them on and get information from them as well, right?
Yeah, of course. So the supplier part has not really been as strategic when I started. The supplier part of our EDI wasn't really a setup that was being had much focus, but we're more and more being looking into this, and we have the first suppliers on this, and we are looking to actually the Lobster Pro. We're looking into that as becoming our kind of like a supplier portal for updating purchase orders and stuff, so forth. So that will probably be our main supplier portal turned towards our suppliers. Yeah.
Okay, so that tooling also made it easier for you to switch between suppliers because you can, so to say, outsource the onboarding work to the suppliers. They can do it themselves, and then they're onboarded, so to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. It's just as we can hear, there are so many different bits and pieces that you can have to navigate those supply chain disruptions. And now, I do have one big question, and that is because everybody's talking about AI transforming every industry out there. And obviously, this is a huge topic, and we can talk about buzzwords all day long, but I would rather like to know, Max, how is Krone implementing AI features? And be honest, does it actually already add value? Or is it more like, we want to try it and we don't know yet?
Be honest is, I think, a very good one. I'm trying to be honest wherever I can, even here in this situation. AI is giving me fear, because we have so many opportunities without AI to deliver services, to deliver digital processes, that we don't need AI for that. We are testing, I would say right now, 15 different proof of concepts on AI through supply chain, customer support, even delivering a cockpit where we have certain functionalities already automated. AI is mostly for us right now the human interaction thing. The rest is get your data right. That's the major point. So all these AI projects are completely going to hell if your database is not as it should be. Second of all, yeah, our biggest project we are running right now, and there is AI involved, is yeah, we are talking here about real-time tracking, and we want to the estimated time of arrival. That's okay. What we would like to do in order to keep the uptime of the fleet there is getting the predictive maintenance. Where everyone was saying predictive maintenance on a trailer, that's a no-show story. Don't even try it. We are there right now with brakes, with tires, with air suspension. We are there now. It's tested. It's in the market. We are numbers 1,000 plus right now. We are rolling it out, and we are pretty confident that the more units we have out there, the better the algorithms are getting, so that we are making this a standard, let's say, within the next 12 to 24 months. But this is where we see right now the biggest advantage of bringing something to the customer, which is really beneficial. All the rest, we can do a lot of stuff on AI and test and be fancy and have great employer branding. But really delivering something which is making a difference in the supply chain, I believe it's predictive maintenance at a new level.
Okay, I think you mentioned some very important points right here. AI can do a lot, but one needs to be very critical when we look at it. And what you mentioned right now is with predictive maintenance, it is a cost factor, right? It reduces cost for the customer.
Yeah, and I have one important point. Wherever we can, we are not using AI because AI is super expensive. And we are in a market where it's really down to the last cent on the kilometers. And then we are trying to come up with fancy systems which are really expensive. So if we can, we are not making it an AI solution because it's mostly super cheap to do it without AI, without super computer powering, and get the cost to a level where it makes sense in the market. So all the rest, yes, see the point, but AI and transport, it's always a super critical cost factor.
No, I mean I totally agree. I mean in the logistics industry, you need to be very tight with money. There's hardly any margins, and I think it's very important and very valuable that we talk so honestly about AI. That the truly useful AI projects that are right there right now may be few, but it may become more in the future. Obviously, as the technology matures and more use cases come out. Now, Emil, how is it at Darmstadt?
So I actually have a use case that we implement on our web shop just quite recently. So we have like a stainless steel genius at our company who's written 4 or 5 books. So we actually built like a kind of like a stainless steel guru that kind of uses ChatGPT to kind of like make lookups, and then you have like a chatbot on our website. So you can ask it anything about, okay, I need stainless steel that needs to go into salt water at this. All this stuff, right? So you can ask it all types of questions. So purchasers, they can say, okay, I have this project. I need stainless steel that lives up to these standards. They can type it in. Okay, you need this, and then it will say, okay, you need this product, and so forth. So, and then Lobster actually interacts with that API that's producing the answers. So we can kind of like pull all the data out, and then our marketing department kind of goes through it. Okay, what are some often asked questions? And they might use that in some marketing material to the next customer event and so forth. So that's how we use AI. And then just low-hanging fruits in general, like email distributor, just some small, like easy to make stuff that we utilize. Yeah.
Okay, but that's also a very good point. So you have this huge pool of data that the customer would have, or the account executive would have to look through. Maybe he or she has the knowledge for it or the experience so that he can find the product faster. But obviously, in this huge pool of data, unstructured, most likely, ever changing, it makes a lot of sense to employ a model that can look through it and give you ideas for it. Would you say what the chatbot says is always true, or does he make mistakes?
So it's been through a really a thorough testing period where our employees have given it a lot of insane stuff.
Okay.
And I think we're at a point where we're pretty confident that we have like maybe a like 95 to percent hit rate, which is okay for us.
And have you gotten any like direct feedback on it? What do customers say to you?
I've seen some of the logs, and it's pretty insane what they ask it. But in general, it's been very, very positive. People have really enjoyed it, and it's just making the customers more what do you call it? Comfortable in ordering stuff through our web shop, because some of our customers are like old timers and they hate our web shop and they hate everything digital. So giving them these small kind of extra stuff that really helps them, that really makes them more comfortable in using our web shop.
Of course, and it lowers the entry barrier, so to say, for new customers, because they can look it up right there
and some
experience what you have built. Right?
Some purchasers, they're not. They probably started a company and they're not great at stainless steel. They can use that as well. So, and employees as well at our company who come from different industries. Yeah. So
that's very interesting, and I actually could keep on going about AI, and I'm sure that many more questions I can come up with, but I can already see that we're in our Q&A slot right now. So if you have any questions to Max and Emil, just feel free to raise your hand, and we will get a microphone to you so that they can answer your questions. Well, maybe in the meantime I can ask you a question. maybe more questions will come up. So if we're looking ahead into the next couple of years, I mean, these times it's really hard to predict what's coming up next. But what are you excited for in the next years? What are the projects that you're really looking forward to go live?
Do you want to start? Or
you start.
Okay.
Or do you need a minute?
No. It's fine.
Think of one.
So we're really putting huge efforts into integrating with a lot of platforms. So it's SAP Ariba. So we have something in the Netherlands called SCSN, which is big in the stainless steel industry. Symbrio in Sweden. So we're really making these integrations, full integration for these platforms, because we have like EDI in Germany has been really bad for our company for many years, and now we're kind of like integrating into Ariba, and that has really changed the whole dynamic of how we're onboarding customers in Germany. So just keep pushing these platforms and making solid integrations with Lobster Data. That's really something I'm looking forward to doing. Yeah.
It also sounds like an advice to all the people out there, right? Okay.
First of all, it's just now 3 weeks from now, we will launch the next generation customer platform. I think this is where I'm really looking forward. We spent 2 years and quite a budget on it, where it's about, getting everything regarding your trailers, be it Krone or others, in a single place. And then managing these daily operations like, there's a certificate which is due by end of June, and all these little activities where our core interaction partner, the fleet manager, needs to have this little assistant on his side. And this is my vision. I would like to bring him this little assistant sitting here saying, I already managed 90% of the stuff for you, which is bureaucratic, which is getting certificates, getting prolonging stuff. And I even tell you, you don't need to look through all the trailers, but only look at those 5, because they are through predictive. We can tell you these are the ones you as a human need to look at, because I could not solve it. That's my vision. That's my plan. And at the end of the day, what's really important, that this information is not in our platform. This information is then available seamless through all the platforms the customers are using, from ERP to whatever systems out there to Shipeo and Project 44. At the end of the day, seamless integrated data flow through different APIs, platforms, and also definitely using Lobster in order to be faster with implementing data availability for the customer, so that there's really value out of data. Because if we're just collecting data, guys, there's no value. Yeah. There needs to be right away in the applications where we are having the data, there needs to be the availability and then the right data in order to make life easier for transport and also fleet.
Okay, I bet when you talk about your vision, you're probably also imagining the people using it and being happy about it, that it takes work off of their hands, right? So that they can focus on the more important things.
I think that's our motivation. We are standing up every morning to make life easier for the guys which are running fleets, because we are not only having a lack of drivers, we are also having a massive lack of good fleet managers. And if we have good fleet managers, the transport chain or the complete supply chain is more, let's say, resilient than if you have fleet managers which are, let's say, changing on a quarterly or yearly basis. So this is where we are trying to make our best for the supply chain.
Okay, I think this is a wonderful point where we can stop. It's a great outlook on what's possible out there when you use the right data and the right tools in order to enable the people, because in the end, it's about the people out there, about the employees and about our customers and the entire society. And with this, this first slot is coming to an end. Thank you very much for your participation and for the discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.